What's up, everybody? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, the man with a plan. And this time we're gonna take you back. Take you back to JLA Year One, Number 2. Yeah. And this time they're dealing with one of the sleaziest organizations in the world. And I'm talking about the media. You thought I was talking about the Legion of Doom at first, huh? Well, there's other sleazy organizations, I guarantee you that. And here we have one of the government guys actually talking to Vandal Savage, and they're going over his museum of different Treekins trophies over the years. That was actually a piece of Cleopatra they passed by, and Vandal actually reveals that he was the one that got rid of the JSA, and that he will be getting rid of this incarnation of the Justice League as well, because he can't have them meddling in his affairs. So he hires Solomon Grundy, Thorn, Eclipso, and the Clayface. Yes, and he has trained them, he set them to destroy the Justice League, and with one push of a button they teleport away. And Aquaman, being that he's kind of in Germany, around Europe, he's kind of learning the language, and Martian Manhunter kind of meets him, and they have a conversation here, and Manhunter feels that Aquaman does not like the surface dwellers too much, so he came to talk to him, kind of ease his mind, and give him a lift to Gotham. Yes, they're flying to Gotham for a press conference. As Green Lantern meets them, they end up following Flash there, where Black Canary is already there, waiting, already exciting the press. And believe me, there is a lot of press. This is the first superhero team since the Justice Society of America, which ended up breaking up in the 50s due to McCarthyism, actually. There was an issue on that. So everyone's excited about this. They're excited to see new heroes come into the fold and bring back the glory days of a bygone era. But as always, the press asks a lot of different questions, and Aquaman's just simply terrible at answering questions. And Black Canary says that he reminds him of a Dr. Midnight. And the reason she keeps doing this is that her mother was the original Black Canary at this point in time, before the crisis and another crisis changed everything. But anyways, and this is where they kind of stumble through the name of the Justice League of America. And it's always funny how Green Lantern gets credited for the League part because he was a baseball fan. So the crowd cheers, everyone's all happy, until they start asking questions, like when superheroes show up, supervillains show up, and it tends to be a darker place with superheroes in the fold. Because Savage usually does all his plans underground until now. With a big flash, the teleportation goes off, and all of a sudden the villains are there, and they just start going through, taking care of the press, murdering people left and right, doing what they do. And of course Green Lantern kind of blocks their immediate attacks, and the JLA has to go to work. And this is a trial by fire, because they're actually dealing with real supervillains, not just mindless aliens or creatures that act on instinct. These guys have been trained, and they're ready for a fight. Solomon Grundy has actually been around since the olden days of the JSA. He was an original villain for the Green Lantern. So they start going to work, and they start fighting everyone, with Clayface actually holding his own against the Manhunter and Aquaman at this point. Solomon Grundy bats Flash away like a baseball, and he goes to help Black Canary. Now, the fight is kind of even-handed at this point. They're kind of filling each other out, finding their weaknesses, and strengths. And it's very interesting how Black Canary knows how to disorient Solomon and Grundy. She's probably heard the stories before. And Eclipso is actually going one-on-one with Green Lantern. And this is just true Hal Jordan, just to drop a sucker punch out of nowhere, and then turn away from him in distraction or in a moment of ego. And of course he gets his shot back, and he fires a yellow blast at him, which kind of throws him off focus, because I think it's a yellow blast of fear. They're not really mentioning that. And I love how this little metamorpho picture right here, where he's capturing someone, he got all steamed, they wouldn't let him in, but now they're getting their butts kicked, so he really doesn't mind. And I love this moment between Clayface and the Martian. Clayface says he's a shapeshifter, but he's just been outclassed by the Martian. And it freaks Aquaman out so much that Solomon and Grundy gets a punch off. And this is where they have him. The villains have him at their mercy, until Grundy decides to smash them all and starts tearing down the vines. And they try to stop him from doing this, because he's actually freeing the Justice League. And in their moment of fighting, the JLA get free, and they take advantage of that one misstep, and they just go to work on this other team. They just start beating the brakes off of him. Aquaman, of course, splashes a little water, turning Clayface into a mud pie. Flash distracts Eclipso, taking his black diamond, and Green Lantern sealing his eyes shut with a helmet. Thorns tries to throw some thorns at Flash, and he ends up tangling her up in her own vines. Yeah. While he's soaking down Clayface, the Marshal's going to use his heat vision to harden him like cement. And here comes Solomon Grundy, stomping his way through everything. But with a quick save from the Flash, getting the civilians out, and a quick shoo, the villains have teleported away, and the good guys are all left. And of course, Flash has to be a bit of a smartass with Black Canary, and she helps him straighten out his mask. And there's still press. There's still people out there. And Green Lantern has to go out there. And he's kind of the spokesman, him and Black Canary. It's pretty interesting. He kind of goes out there, reassures everyone the JLA is here. They're here to save people. The basic back and forth. While heroes in the background are watching, waiting, learning about this new team. And also someone else in Gotham is watching, Batman. And he is not happy they're here. This is his town, his place. He doesn't want amateurs ruining what he's trying to build. And he's going to use every resource as Bruce Wayne to make sure they stay out of Gotham City, his city. Meanwhile, Savage kind of goes on to say that this loss was to be expected. He was just filling them out, finding out their weaknesses. And this is where him and the government guys kind of part in an odd way. But I don't think they're going to part all the way, if you know what I'm saying. And this is Jack Ryder. This guy becomes a creeper. He ends up interviewing Arrow, and they get into a little fight. And this older gentleman comes up to the Justice League saying that he has a boss that's willing to pay for everything, pay for the fortress. And Green Arrow kind of meets the JLA for the first time, and we find out that this benefactor is none other than Ted Kord, aka the Blue Beetle. Will they take their offer? We'll find out the next time, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.